All right, so I'm here in Huntington Beach, honestly just trying to process a lot of things that God is doing in my heart right now and in the life of our family. Don't know exactly what that is yet. I don't know if you can resonate with that feeling, but have just been feeling a bubbling up, I guess you could say, in our soul, in our chest for a long time, the last 8 to 12 months. And I know from past experience that when this happens, it's time for me to get on a plane and go listen to God. So I'm here really just wanting to walk the streets of Huntington Beach, one of my favorite places, but at the same time, one of the most broken places that I think exists in America. It might not seem that way on the outside. Looks like everybody has it together, but it's really just a facade. It's a hiding from what's really going on. I equate it to my journey in Maui on Front Street. Main Street here in Huntington Beach reminds me a lot of Front Street in Maui, being that a lot of people run and they run and they run, and they find out that they're running from the same thing no matter where they're at. They think location will be the answer, whether it be downtown Huntington Beach in one of the most beautiful places in the continental U.S., or whether it's getting on an airplane and flying to Maui, to one of the most beautiful islands in the world. But I find the same people in both places. Now, the same people exist in Louisville, Kentucky. They exist in San Francisco. They exist in St. Louis. But what I find is in communities like this, they seem to congregate. They seem to find their way here out of a common bond, out of a common denominator. And that's always been intriguing to me. Broken, hurting, lost people. Last night, yesterday was my first day here, so I was up at 2:45 yesterday morning, and by the time I got here, driving around for a bit, I needed to rest a little bit. Took a 2-hour nap and got up and found my feet for the first time on Main Street in Huntington Beach for, man, it's been over 10 years since I've been here last. Spent a lot of time here in our early 20s when we were newly married, and haven't been back in a long time. Ended up walking down Main Street just with a prayer in my heart. God, who is it that you want me to talk to? Who is it that you want me to run into? How do you want my life to collide with some other lives and some other stories that are out here on Main Street tonight? So I went in with just the attitude of openness. You know, it's kind of this attitude of, God, I know you're at work. Would you let me be a part of what you're already doing in the life of this community and in the lives of the broken people that live in this community? So last night, I ended up running into 3 different groups of people. I seem to gravitate towards what I would consider to be, I don't want to say the most lost, because if you're lost, then you're lost. If you're lost, you need to be found. That's what the Bible seems to indicate. There is no level of lostness. But in our own flesh, we seem to equate levels of lostness. And so I seem to always gravitate towards the highest level of lostness, even though I know that they don't exist. So last night I ended up walking across the street to BJ's, and there was a group of about 8 people or so. And they were sitting outside of BJ's, of course, homeless, waiting for someone to come outside with a dinner in tow that they could give away to them so they could have their fill for the night. Ended up striking up a conversation with a guy that goes by the name of Texas. It's his nickname. And Texas, of course, claims to be an ex-military guy, and not that he's lying, but who knows if he's actually in the military or not. But one way or another, he's found himself on the streets of Huntington Beach. So I engaged in a conversation with this guy. He's about 30 years old. He ended up telling me that there's a group of 40 of them that are homeless, all different shapes and sizes and walks of life and reasons for being homeless. But they all seem to gravitate together here in Huntington Beach, and they protect each other. He said they provide for each other. They watch out for each other. And I thought it quite interesting just to have this conversation with Texas and him really sharing with me